The hiss of steaks on the grill filled the summer air, but it still couldn't drown out my father's voice as it cut through like a sharp blade. "Hey, Madison," he called, a smirk tugging at his mouth, the kind that always meant something nasty was coming. "You're old enough now. Either start paying rent or get out. This isn't a charity." Before I could even react, he added, "And before we get started, drop a comment telling us where you're from and what city you're watching from. Then, after the video, tell us what you'd do in this situation. Be honest, we read every single one." Laughter followed, his, my stepmother Denise's, and my half-brother Tyler's. Tyler leaned back in his chair, cracked open another beer, and grinned like he'd just heard the punchline of the best joke in the world. My hands clenched around the paper plate I was holding, the edges bending beneath my grip. It wasn't just what he said, it was the way he said it. In front of everyone. Neighbors pretending not to notice, but listening. He wanted them to hear. He wanted to humiliate me. I set the plate down on the picnic table, keeping my voice steady. "You've been taking half my paycheck for years, Dad. I've been paying the bills." He pulled his favorite mocking shrug, the one meant to make me feel small. "That's called life. If you don't like it, find somewhere else to live." Tyler muttered under his breath, "Good luck with that." The air smelled of grilled meat but felt heavy with something sour, anger, betrayal. I could feel eyes on me from across the yard. They expected me to stay quiet, maybe cry later. But not this time. I stepped closer to him, close enough for the flames from the grill to flicker across his smirk. "Fine," I said, my tone sharp. "You want me gone? You'll get exactly that." He laughed, waving his tongs like I was just an annoying fly. "And where are you going to go? Back to that broken apartment? You've got no savings, Madison." The rest of the evening was a blur of fake smiles and hushed whispers. But in my mind, I was already moving pieces into place. He didn't know what I'd been working on for months. He didn't know I'd just gotten the keys to my own home. By the time the barbecue ended, I'd decided I wasn't dragging this out. If he wanted me gone, I'd be gone. Completely. And when I left, I'd take more than my belongings. I'd take back every ounce of power he thought he had. The next morning, I loaded the final box into my car. My hands trembled, not from sadness but from the thrill of what was coming. I drove to my new place, a modest but beautiful two-story with white siding and a wraparound porch. The air felt cleaner here. By noon, the deed sat on my kitchen counter. I sent my father a short text, "I've moved out. The bills are yours now." It didn't take long. Within an hour, his number flashed on my phone. I let it ring. Then Denise's. I let that ring too. By dinner time, I heard a truck pull up outside. Looking out the window, I saw my father stepping out, pale-faced and tight-jawed. Denise followed, her expression twisted. Tyler's car pulled in behind them, his smugness noticeably gone. I stepped onto the porch. My father stopped at the bottom of the steps. "You're not serious," he said, his voice low. "Oh, I'm serious," I replied, leaning against the railing with my arms crossed. "You said pay rent or get out. I chose get out. And I'm done paying your bills too." Color drained from his face. Denise opened her mouth but no words came. Even Tyler looked uneasy. For the first time, I realized how much control I'd been handing them all these years. And I knew this was just the start. When they finally drove off, I stood there and breathed, not relief but something stronger. The first breath in years that didn't feel borrowed. I went inside, opened my laptop, and began cutting every tie they'd been feeding on. Electric bill gone. Gas gone. Internet, water, car insurance, removed one by one. Each confirmation email straightened my spine a little more. An hour later, my phone buzzed again. Dad. I ignored it. Denise. Ignored. Tyler. Ignored. Then came the group chat. Dad. This isn't funny. Denise. You can't just shut things off. That's not how family works. Tyler. Hope you're happy. You ruined dinner. I typed a single message back. I've moved out. The bills are your responsibility now. Don't show up without warning. I figured that was the last of it, until their truck rolled up outside my new place. Dad climbed out first, jaw set tight. Denise followed, arms folded, while Tyler stayed put in the car. Dad stopped at the foot of the steps. Alright, enough games. You've made your point. Turn the accounts back on for a week so we can adjust. I met his eyes. No. You've been taking half my paycheck for years. You made it clear last night. You want me gone, I'm gone. My money goes with me. Denise let out a short, bitter laugh. Wow. Cold. I stepped down toward them. Cold as laughing at your kid in front of the neighbors. This is warm compared to that. Dad opened his mouth but no words came. For the first time, I saw something unfamiliar in him, hesitation. I turned and walked back up the porch. You'll figure it out the same way I did. The door clicked shut behind me, and for the first time in years, I was the one holding the lock. The next morning, I woke to a silence I hadn't known in my father's house. No heavy boots stomping, no TV blaring, no Denise yelling about some lost receipt, just stillness. I made coffee in my small, sunlit kitchen, steam curling into the warm light. I almost smiled, until my phone rang. Unknown number. Call us. This is urgent. Dad, the electric's off. Food's boiling. We have to talk. Denise, if you care about this family, you'll fix this today. I set the phone down, refusing to let their chaos seep into my morning. They were only now learning what I'd known for years. Bills don't pay themselves. By noon there was a knock, 3 sharp raps. I checked the camera. Denise stood alone, sunglasses covering half her face. I opened the door just a sliver. What do you want? Her smile was tight, brittle. We need the car insurance in your name for a few more days. Tyler's got an interview. I already moved it to my address. It's my policy now. If Tyler's driving, he needs his own. Her jaw tensed. You're punishing us. No. I'm just done letting myself be punished. She blinked, clearly thrown by my calm tone. Your father's furious. You know he's only like this because he's stressed. The shop closing. That shop closed 3 years ago. I cut in. He's had 3 years to stop leaning on me as a crutch. For a second, her expression hardened. You'll regret this. Sooner than you think. I shut the door without another word. That night, as I unpacked boxes, my phone lit up again, an email from my bank. Suspicious login attempt detected. My stomach knotted. I logged in and saw multiple failed password attempts, and something else. A department store credit card I'd never opened, tied to my name, with an address I didn't recognize. It clicked. My purse had gone missing in the old house a year ago, only to reappear 2 days later. I thought nothing was taken. I was wrong. Tyler. I printed every email and statement, filing them into a folder labeled Boundaries in big black letters. This wasn't just self-protection anymore. I was building a case. Close to midnight, Tyler texted. You think you're better than us now? Watch your mailbox. I stared at the screen, my anger cooling into something sharp and steady. They weren't just losing my money, they were losing control. And the more they realized it, the uglier this would get. 2 days passed in quiet. No knocks, no calls, just the occasional sarcastic or vaguely threatening text from Tyler. I kept my replies short and in writing, exactly as my lawyer advised. Every word, date, and attempt they made to pull me back, I documented. On the 3rd morning, the silence broke. My phone buzzed constantly as I sipped coffee. Screenshots from friends and neighbors poured in. Facebook posts from Denise, written in her perfected self-pitying tone. Some people think they can just turn their back on family. After all we've done, they leave us in the dark. Literally. The comments were predictable, sympathetic friends, distant relatives I hadn't spoken to in years asking what happened. She loved her usual tactic, dropping just enough hints so the villain could be anyone. The most telling part? Not a single person tagged me. Not one used my name. They wanted to tell a story but keep me out of the frame. I didn't bite. Instead, I double-checked with the power, water, and internet companies to confirm every account was now in their names. I wasn't leaving them a single point of control over me. By noon, the doorbell rang. The camera feed made my jaw tighten. Dad, alone, hands buried in his jacket pockets. I cracked the door but didn't step out. What is it? I asked. His tone was calmer than I expected, but there was still an edge. We've got a problem. The mortgage is due, and without your transfer. Not my problem. I cut in. His eyes narrowed. Do you even hear yourself? You've been part of this household for years. You don't just walk away from responsibilities overnight. I laughed sharp, humorless. You mean the responsibilities you dumped on me the second I started earning? The ones you never even discussed, just took. He stepped closer. You think this new place makes you better than us? That you can hide here while we sink? I met his stare. I'm not hiding. I'm done being your lifeline. His jaw worked, like he was chewing on words he wouldn't say. Then he turned, throwing one last line over his shoulder. You'll regret this when you come crawling back. I shut the door slowly, savoring the click of the lock. Crawling back wasn't in my vocabulary anymore. That evening, as the sun dropped and the air cooled, my old neighbor called. Voice low like we were sharing gossip. They're out in the driveway yelling. Something about the account being overdrawn. Denise is screaming she can't buy groceries, and your dad keeps saying it's her fault. I thanked them and hung up, sitting for a moment in silence. They were finally carrying the weight I'd held alone for years. The next day, I made sure this wasn't just about leaving. It was about taking back every bit of control they'd stolen. I went to the bank, closed the last joint account they could touch, and walked out with the folder in my bag feeling heavier, more complete. That evening, a text from Denise. You've made your point. We get it. Just help us this month, and we'll figure it out after. I didn't reply. 2 hours later, she posted publicly. Funny how people change when they think they don't need you anymore. Life has a way of humbling everyone. For once, she was right. On Saturday morning, the perfect opportunity landed in my lap. I was sipping coffee, checking emails, when one from the mortgage company for Dad's address popped up. The subject: urgent, past due balance and notice of public auction. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I'd moved out weeks ago. My name was off everything tied to that house. But the bank must have kept me as an emergency contact from years back. The letter was blunt. 2 missed payments, no arrangements, auction in 30 days. I stared at the screen. This was proof. Their big talk was nothing but smoke. Once, I would have rushed over, drained my account to save them. Now I hit print and slid it into my boundaries folder. By noon there it was, hard knocks at my door. This time all 3 stood on the porch, Dad red-faced, Denise tight-lipped, Tyler smirking. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. Dad didn't waste a second. You saw the notice. We can't lose the house, Maddie. You have to help. I crossed my arms. No, I don't. You're still family, he barked, loud enough for the neighbors to watch from across the street. I didn't lower my voice. Family doesn't treat you like a walking wallet. Family doesn't laugh while you're humiliated. Family doesn't commit fraud in your name and expect silence. Denise stepped forward, glancing nervously at the onlookers. Do you have to make a scene? Yes, I said evenly. You didn't mind making one when it worked for you. Tyler muttered, unbelievable. I turned to him. You're right. It is unbelievable I let this happen for so long. Dad's tone dropped to that low, threatening register he once used to scare me. If you walk away from this, you're nothing to us. I smiled without warmth. Then I'll be nothing to you, and everything to myself. I pulled the printed foreclosure notice from my folder, held it up so they could all see. This, I said clearly, is what happens when the person you've been draining finally stops bleeding for you. I let it fall to the porch and closed the door with a firm click. Through the blinds, I watched them, Dad frozen, Denise glancing at the neighbors, Tyler kicking at the paper. They left without a word. That evening, I posted one simple line. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the chance to stand on their own 2 feet. The comments flooded in. Congratulations, encouragement, people happy for my fresh start. I didn't name names. I didn't need to. Their downfall wasn't my story to tell anymore. It was theirs to live. And I was finally free to live mine.